following video is on attendance management in EWS. Firstly, from the staff member's perspective, they would simply hit the icon next to their class, and here we can see that a class called HG1 is scheduled in the morning. Notice that the staff member also has an extra highlighted in yellow, so we can integrate with third-party timetabling systems to automatically bring that extra across. So if we were to mark attendance for one of these classes, we click on the attendance icon, the default is present. All the staff member would have to do is basically hit the save button, and notice the color changes, attendance has been saved. Notice that if we just hit the drop down, we can see a number of different reasons here. These reasons are not fixed, but actually set by the school. So you can set as many different reasons as you like. Each reason can be tied into a role, so different people within the organization have rights to different attendance reasons. You could define late. There are a number of different options here. The default is late just by a number of minutes, but you could also specify an exact time or just a checkbox. You can define a note here. We also deliberately have uniform recording within the actual mechanism itself, so at the same time that you're doing your attendance, you could also record uniform compliance. This can be turned off or on. And notice you also have the ability to lock a record. Now, locking is a right, so obviously different people within the organization have different rights to lock, and that would be set obviously at the school level. Hit the save button, the attendance has then been saved. So basically as easy as it gets from a staff member's perspective. Once attendance has been recorded, we can search for students and generate individual reports, for example. So here's Alice, I click on attendance, then I can see, for example, that that's her attendance record for today. I could, for example, see her statistical record, and if I just bring that a bit further up, you can then see that, for example, here's her statistics by class with being broken down into approved and unapproved absences and lates, a complete summary there, a summary count by class, and if we just go down here, we can see that there's absent dates, a calendar control giving us the complete breakdown, a numerical breakdown, and then the complete record. So really finding attendance on an individual basis is as easy as just typing in the student's ID or name and then being able to get that information instantaneously. You then get the same thing with late statistics. As you can see, there's only one record there, and then we could also get any warnings that have been specified for that particular student. The attendance system has a number of different options. So from the back-end point of view, or from the administrator's point of view, let's just go into the attendance area. And here we have a number of different options. If we just click on attendance reasons, we can see that each particular reason, for example, can be specified as either being in an absent warning count mechanism or not. And that can be quite useful later on when we're doing attendance alerts and warnings. We can specify whether the reason is an approved absence or not, or an unapproved absence. There's rights for the reason. We can generate a code. This is mainly used for cases 21. And then we can also specify colour and even a sort order if we want to. Just going back into the attendance area, we can have, just going into general settings, a number of different options here. We can define a confirmation box on saving the attendance. We can record doubles concurrently or not. We can have a deletion role, so in other words, who's got the ability to actually delete attendance, and that could be quite useful if a mistake is made. There's a number of different options here also about future attendance recording, so we can actually allow it or not, and then we can specify which role within the college has the ability to record future-based attendance. We can automatically adjust future attendance based on timetabling changes, and that could be quite useful in the scenario where attendance has been recorded. Example, student is on a medical excursion or whatever, timetable changes, the student is now in a different class, but we still want that record which has been saved for maybe 2 or 3 weeks into the future to automatically apply those changes to each individual class, and so that's what it would do. We can allow present recording in the future to be yes or no. We can lock records for future attendance, and we can also control past attendance recording as well. One of the main features of the portal is the attendance warning settings. So here we have the ability to automatically notify coordinators and homeroom teachers and individual staff of attendance warning thresholds. So for example, this is attendance warning session settings per class, and there are 3 different thresholds. So at this stage is set to 2, 8 and 12, and basically it just means that when the student has reached on a per class level 2, they automatically would send a message to the coordinator, homeroom teacher, subject teacher, etc. And so once each one of these thresholds are hit, those particular groups then automatically get a message. The same thing can occur, absence warning messages overall. And I'll just scroll down across so we can see that a bit better. And so you can see that that's on an overall message. We have the same thing for late warning settings, and these are late warning settings per class or overall. And so once again, different groups within the organisation can get instantaneous messages. The missed attendance warning settings basically are for staff, and so in this case we can automatically notify staff that they failed to record attendance, and we can define any exceptions here. And then absence day settings are basically absences on a per day level. Here are some examples of warning messages that have been sent out into Outlook, for example. And as you can see, Alice has missed 3 absences, and the coordinator was automatically notified with exact details of when that actually happened. Here's a missed attendance warning given to staff for failure to record attendance on a particular date as well. Attendance has a number of different other options, the ability to record attendance, recording exceptions, and this could be quite useful when we have a student-free day and we don't want the system to be recording that as a missed attendance record. If we just scroll down again, we have attendance custom day recording. This is the scenario where, for example, especially if the school is running a 10-day timetable, the school decides that on Thursday, instead of it being a day 5, it's going to be a day 3 for a catch-up period. We can automatically tell the portal to make it a day 3 instead of a day 5. And here we have our locking settings where we can define lock records. Here is ewAttendance. This is a Windows application designed specifically for attendance, and here we can do a lot more advanced functionality with than the portal can. And so this could be quite useful for coordinators and front office staff. And just to show you an example, here's ad hoc recording, where we could record on an ad hoc basis. So let's say, for example, we had a group of students, they're all from different classes, and what we want to do is we want to record their attendance as being, for example, an excursion. It's over a date range, so it's over a couple of days. Maybe they're going on a camp. We want to lock the records. We want it all day, and then we basically hit save, and then that'll record attendance for every period, for every day, for those particular group of students. We can define attendance groups. That's basically groups that we're going to reuse, and that could be a group of TAFE students that are going out all the time, or a sporting group, instead of us having to select those particular students. We can then generate a whole series of reports, and so just to show some of the actual reports here, so for example we can click on the individual report, and what this will allow us to do is give us a visual representation of the students' attendance over a particular period of time, and so that's quite useful in being able to see attendance on a visual basis. We could do exactly the same thing in the discrepancy report, but this one would be an overall, and so we would do it over a particular semester, or we would do it over a particular group of dates, and we have the ability to change reason filters from approved to unapproved, change date ranges, etc. From here we can get everything from a missed attendance report, so this will give us all staff members who have failed to do their attendance so far today, individual statistics report, and so this would give us what students, for example, have no attendance recorded, and this would be quite useful for finding for catching up on attendance at the end of the term. Present day count report, let's say we want to know who's got more than one day absence over a particular semester or date range, and here we can filter by period, we can filter by reason, by absence reason type, etc., and we can see who's got more than particular absences, and that could be quite useful in determining if anyone's close to a particular day threshold, etc. We can export attendance, and we can export to DEWR, Acceleris, cases 21, and so that data could then be imported into those third-party management systems. We also have the ability to generate letters based on predefined templates, and if we just have a look at some of the templates here without going into a lot of detail, this is, for example, generate a letter on absence or dates. And so if we were just to generate a letter, and the beauty of this is that it would do it on a Word document, so it makes it really easy then for the user to be able to create the template in the first place and manipulate the actual information itself. And here's an example of that letter that's just been generated, and we can put in a whole series of dates, format the letter because it's using Word, etc. We also have an SMS application that's specifically not just for attendance but for sending SMS to any group configuration within the portal. But just to show you the attendance mechanism at this point, we could generate and send attendance, send SMS based on attendance. And so if we were just to look at a date range, so let's get some data here, and we could then see unapproved that Alice, for example, was absent on particular dates. We could then send an SMS to the parent, selecting, select the actual record, so let's say it's today. Send an SMS to parent, we select our predefined template. And as you can see, the template would automatically fill in salutations, student first name, and then send the SMS out. DM Smith, Alice was absent today on the 23rd, please contact student services on that. It's a really quite powerful application to be able to send SMS based on attendance data. The following is the sign in, sign out system. This will basically sit at the front office where a student comes in late or leaves early, and that would basically automatically swipe. So just to give you an example of how this would actually work, so just make it a bit smaller there so you can see. So I don't have a card on me, but I'll just use the student's ID. Student would then sign in or sign out. And once they do that, it will automatically integrate then into the attendance system. So as soon as a student was to sign in late, the staff member would then see that attendance record. And if the student was to, for example, leave at 10 o'clock in the morning for a medical appointment, any staff member taking the attendance in the afternoon will have automatically that the student was absent with a note explaining that they went on a medical appointment. So it integrates completely into the attendance system, and there's a number of different preferences that you could set up within the actual application itself. So that's just a summary of the ewAttendance system, state of the art, allowing you to record attendance in a number of different configurations and generate rich reports.